This is exclusive interview on AD4 TV radio. I am Tunde Hassan. In the circle of life, aging is an inevitable stage. Individuals are born, they grow, and they age. It is an organic process. It is the nature of man and indeed creation. Many desire to live to be old. Some do, some don't. For those that make it, it is a grace to relish, laced with lifelong activities, tested knowledge, a bundle of experience, wisdom. However, age and aging also comes with its twists and turns, its own dynamics, its own peculiar challenges which require a combination of state action and non-state efforts and interventions from communities and institutions. My guest is one of those at the forefront of initiatives and advocacy to articulate the concerns of older persons in Nigeria. In a moment, he joins me to engage some of the salient and core issues pertinent to this demography. But then, this comes after this report.
Aging is an inevitable process in life. It is in the nature of humans to age. The frailties of the circle of life. Individuals must necessarily grow older, and with that comes diminished skills, capacity, strength, and vitality. If all else remain, physical and health conditions may weigh in on the capacity to navigate the vagaries and the exigencies of life. This presents peculiar circumstances that take into account the peculiar needs of the elderly. The elderly are therefore a vital consideration in the design and structure of safety nets created at individual, communal, or governmental level. In recent years, Nigeria is seeking to develop social protection instruments to tackle the country's high rates of vulnerability among the elderly. However, questions around the effectiveness of these initiatives remain focal. Many older persons still complain of what is called structural marginalization, neglect, undignified treatment, and exclusion from mainstream national development initiatives. That is the thrust on exclusive interview with Senator Eze Darlington Ajoku, President, Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria.
Welcome back. Exclusive interview on AD4 TV radio. Join me in welcoming my guest on the platform, Senator Dr. Eze Darlington Ajoku. He is the president of the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria, COSPORIN.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Let's have a kind of understanding of the status of older persons in Nigeria, the level of engagement, inclusion in the general scheme of things. What are their core concerns?
Well, as you may have known, because the issue of older persons in Nigeria is public knowledge, that older persons are currently excluded from all governmental plans and initiatives, and their rights are denied them across boards, whether it's rights of pension and every other thing. The older person in Nigeria today does not matter. When government declares that you are now an older person, at 60 they retire you, and when they retire you, they send you home without any money at all for the next 18 months. Then they cut off your health insurance. Immediately you retire at 60, it is cut off. Indirectly, without money and without health care, what they are saying to you is you should go home and die. That's technically what government currently is saying, and that's why people like us are saying, no, this is not right. Okay? And we felt that for it to have some meaning, that the older persons should begin to speak out for themselves and let government know what they are going through. When a man retires, he doesn't get any pension gratuity for the next 18 months. You can imagine what he goes through. Not only is he mentally and physically disorganized by the retirement, but when he gets home, there's no money in his pocket. What do you want him to do? And we've been able to show, about 3 weeks ago, we were at the office of the head of service, and we were telling them that there's a direct link between corruption and the state of the retired civil servant. Because when a man is going to retire and he looks out there, that those who retired before him are not doing well, except if they enrich themselves before they retired.
By any means necessary.
Any means necessary. He will begin to look for shortcuts, things he will do in order to be able to take care of his health and his welfare when he leaves. And you know, with corruption, nobody commits corruption alone. You must have people you convince, let's do this, because paperwork is needed. And that's why, you know, we are saying to government, look after your people when they retire, take care of older persons. And the annoying thing is that the policymakers who later become victims of the same process.
Perpetrators at one level,
yes, at one level.
Victim at another.
Yes. They don't think of retirement. They don't think of old age. Go across this country today. The policymakers are between the ages of 45 and 59. And yet, they do not think about older persons at all. They do not think that they will get old. They don't even think that they will retire one day, and put policies in place for the benefit of older persons.
Okay, let me, I mean, there are people who are concerned about this, like Cospering, your platform,
yes,
Cost-Roping,
yes.
The Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria.
Yes.
I read through some of the materials you've articulated,
yes.
talking about structural marginalization and neglect of older persons in Nigeria, at least within the context of mainstream national development.
Yes.
Since you took on this challenge, from what I read up, 2016 or thereabouts,
yes.
So far, how far? How have you been able to put this on the front burner of national discourse for engagement?
Well, I'm happy to tell you that today, you know, aging is now in the front burner. In the last 4 years, hitherto what we had was different groups doing one thing or the other
differently
about one aspect
purposes
of aging. Some doing manpower development, some doing this and that. And in 2016, we felt that there was need for a stronger voice, a united, stronger voice. And that's why, you know, during one of the activities of one of our member associations, we decided to call everybody who was connected with aging one way or the other, whether he is in retirement groups, you know, like Nigerian pension groups, the army retirement groups, civil servants, NGOs, CSOs, everyone who is in aging, and we invited them, and that's how the coalition came about. So today we're happy to say that everyone who is aging matters, whether in the university or, you know, in research, they are all members of the coalition.
Has it been worthwhile? Have you posted any achievements in this past 5 years?
Because when you look at it, one, older persons are now speaking out. I'm an older person. I'll be 74 in September, you know, and all my executives, the main executives, we have a former governor, you know, we have former ministers. Our chairman is a former minister of education in this country. And I think we're making some progress because we're speaking out for ourselves too. We've been able to work with humanitarian ministry, and we've developed a policy on aging. We have also done a lot of advocacy, you know, with government. Currently, we're working on some social welfare for older persons. One, we're working with the Ministry of Health to ensure that all older persons have health insurance, in this country. Even those who are working for government who are retiring, their health insurance should not be cut off at 60. They should still be on it until they come into what we'll call a national non-contributory health insurance, which would cover everybody. We are working on social security incentives, and when I discussed the bill, which is the thing that when we came together as an association, we realized that, look, without a legal framework, not much can be done in advocating for the rights of older persons. You have to define what their rights are. I left the National Assembly about 15, 16, 17 years ago. Today, I can't say these are my rights. At my age, I don't have anything I can hold on to say these are my rights, for which I can even, go to government and say I'm being denied my rights. The right to pension and all that, people are denied. So one of the things we have also achieved is that we came out with a bill. We sat down in our office, and then we created what we felt was a bill, which
yes, I've heard about that bill. I mean, it's quite. I think it's a giant leap.
Yes.
Now, but it has remained at the level. Yes, it's gone through. It has been passed. What is the stage of that bill? Okay. What does it seek to achieve? What are the elements, the key provisions of that bill?
The bill has been passed by the Senate on the 2nd of February this year.
So all it's waiting is assent from the president?
No. It's going, it has to go through concurrence with the House of Rep.
Okay.
And it's gone through the first reading there.
Okay.
So once the House of Rep passes it, it will go to the president for assent. We can say that it went through a speedy passage at the Senate.
Is that a positive indication?
It is a positive indication that it's an overdue bill. Because as at today, there is no current bill on older persons. And this will be the first bill defining
that is
their
quite
rights.
Intriguing.
Yes.
60 years down the line, no law in this country covering older persons.
No law in this country defining the rights and privileges of older persons in Nigeria. And therefore, we are excitedly looking forward to the concurrence, through which we now begin to, if necessary, go to the president and say, look, this is overdue. And as you said, the bill, seeks for benefits for older persons, tries to define their rights and privileges. And it's a reasonable bill.
Okay, Senator, distinguished,
yes.
We'll take a short break now and then return to engage the core areas, the core provisions of that bill. It's been exclusive interview reaching you on the platform of AD4 TV Radio with Senator Dr. Darlington Eze Ajoku, who is the president of the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria. We'll return to continue the discussion shortly.
There's a wind of change blowing over Nigeria, and it's coming from the Tertiary Education Trust Fund. If you want to find out how TED Fund is bringing the Nigerian government, industry, and the academia together to drive a new knowledge economy, tune in to this station every Wednesday at 8 p.m. for TED Fund, the paradigm shift. It's informative, it's innovative, and it's exciting. TED Fund, the paradigm shift, proudly produced by AD4 TV Radio.
You're welcome back. Exclusive interview on AD4 TV Radio. We are engaging with the president of the coalition of the Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria, Senator Dr. Eze Darlington Ajoku. Once again, thanks for being with us.
Thank you very
sharing your
much.
time with us.
Yes.
Yeah, before we took that break, we're talking about the bill that is we hopefully will articulate and put the rights of older persons and their concerns within mainstream Nigeria.
Yes.
What are the core provisions of that bill? When it comes, what do we expect to see?
Well, the main substance of the law is the prohibition of discrimination against older persons. That is the main thrust of it. And if you look at Part 1 and Section 1 of the law, it makes it a crime for anyone or persons or institution to discriminate against any person on account of age or disability. All right? Because when you talk about older persons, there are some of them that are living with one form or the other of disability. There are older women, there are old men, all categories of older persons. And then the bill also, anybody who commits an offense against an older person will be punished by, the provisions of the bill. And if it is a corporate organization, 2 million naira is fined. If it is an individual, it's 200,000. So that opens up, the provision of the bill.
And those figures in terms of sanctions are, let's not say justiciable. Are they fixed? It can never be moderated by any court of law?
They are there as the penalties.
Penalties.
Yes, they are there for the penalties. Oftentimes, it's always left to the judges to say, okay, you by the weight of what you've done, you may not be able to pay that. But that's the way
the
it goes.
provision will be.
And the aim of the bill is just basic rights that will make older persons happy and healthy as they age, and make the society more humane to older persons. Okay? Prominent among these rights are that it will provide for grants for older persons, all right? Inclusion in public and political life, rights of choice and preference in personal decisions. Because sometimes people are just making decisions for the older person as if he's dead and he's alive.
They're excluded.
Yes, they're excluded
from the policy basket.
So that older persons will be treated fairly and equitably in policy and implementation rights to enjoy health and long-term protection, care. And then we're talking about older persons' abuse, right? Elder abuse, rights to access public buildings, because some public buildings
are not
accessible to older persons, buildings and other utilities of amenities being provided by roads, water, rail, and air transport. Those are the things that the bill is focusing.
These are weighty requirements.
They are.
Do you think the system, in terms of the economy and the financial muscle of the country, has the weight to carry this burden?
Yes. Let me say this. The implementation of the law
for instance,
does not require
this?
new investments.
Okay.
All right? New structures and infrastructure are not compulsory. Existing facilities do not demand an expansion. We're not asking government to start. What is required is modification. All right? If you have a building that
limits
access, provide it.
That's it.
Include it. And we're not saying do it today. You are given 4 years to be able to do that.
Commit yourself within 4 years to do it.
Yes. If you go to Ministry of Health today, you see that they have put a ramp. All right? Instead of the staircases to climb to the first ground floor. All right? So all those are the kind of things we're looking for. So they are not requiring you. Where it may be required that, and I think budget is already working on that. Social security for older persons. They're already planning. because some of the provisions, when we discuss the provisions of the law, we'll be saying that an older person, an indigent older person, should at least get some social security by way of payment of at least 50% of the minimum wage, wherever he's located, if it's proven. The humanitarian is doing different things at this time, distributing money, to reach the older persons. When it is now formalized, we will have data on all the older persons, and that will help the activities of government at that time. And therefore, you find that what the law requires is simple. Reorganize the way you do things, recognize that these people exist, certain monies that you have, utilized this way, target them directly to older persons, which was what we did during the palliative, during the lockdown. The ministry was giving palliatives in fields and asking older persons and everybody to come to the field. We went to them and said, no, this is not possible for older persons, because the older persons, some are fragile, some are sick, some cannot come to the... You need to target them directly.
And they were most vulnerable.
Yes. So they had to give us, they said, okay, if you want to go to their homes, they gave us palliatives. And we went from one house to the other in Abuja because we had data on some older persons. And were able to take it straight to their homes.
That was good.
That was good. In addition to all that we were doing with NOA at that time. So this bill, I'm sure, will not be very hard for Nigeria to implement.
What are the obstacles that you envisage to driving and delivering on this, on the goals of this bill?
You know one thing with this country, we're very good at policies and laws, is implementation. Is be able to translate those policies, and make them operational. So that they move on to projects and programs, and there are people responsible for them. We're expecting that, those who will be responsible for this bill will be the federal government, the state, and government as its principal agencies to manage it. And those of us who are NGOs and all that will make sure that it will be followed up. We expect that once you clock 60 years in this country, NIMSI should give you an ID card saying you are 60. And
that would be novel.
Yes, that's what is in the bill. You have a card saying I'm 60 years old. And therefore, the benefits and the provisions of this bill would, accrue to you. In London today, once you are 60, your rights.
Is given.
All right? And that's what we're trying to do in this country. And I'm happy, for certain provisions that...
Apart from your engagement at the legislative level, the broader governmental response to all these initiative to promote and protect and defend the rights, dignity of older persons in Nigeria, are you satisfied with the response at the larger, broader governmental level, beyond the legislative action that has been going on?
Yes. The thing is, when we approach any MDA and begin to talk about this, they understand it. They know it is the proper thing to do. And so we're having their cooperation and their support. What they are lacking is on their own to work as a team, and that's why we're happy with the policy on aging, which calls for a teamwork across boards to be able to implement programs on aging. Every ministry should have a program for the aged. Every MDA should have.
Like a desk.
Yes, there must be a desk, It's unfortunate if you go to some ministries, there's no desk. Not even the desk of those who are pushing for sustainable development.
SDG.
Yes. They have youth desk, they have this, but no older person's desk. and we have raised it there. So we believe that everybody will begin to, when we have a bill, we can show you this, look, these are the provisions.
And bring everybody to the table.
To the table.
On the same page.
To discuss it. And I believe the efforts that we're making right now will pay off in due course.
Well, I wish you the very best, distinguished Senator, and as you drive these lofty ideals in all of this, as a takeaway message, what would we require to entrench the rights and concerns of older persons in mainstream Nigeria?
Well, it's awareness. Once there's awareness that the older persons are also human and they have helped to contribute to the development of this country. Like we always say, the labors of our heroes past, these are not dead. The heroes are still present. And that's why we want everybody to recognize that we're still here and they should look after us. Okay? When we had the opportunity and the privileges, we gave our best to this country. And there's no need for the country to deny us any care and benefits at this age. And so once there is awareness of the fact that older persons are excluded, older persons are marginalized, their lives today has no dignity, except we create that dignity for them, then it's then and only then that, older persons will have a cause to smile. But for now, it's, cap in hand, begging for whatever crumbs we can get from anyone.
Well, certainly that is not good enough for those who have helped shape this country to the point it is, especially those who have made enormous contribution to the development of the country. This country owes not just them, but also them, the best of welfare and the best of treatment. And this is wishing COSROPIN, the Coalition of Societies for the Rights of Older Persons in Nigeria, the very best as you push this initiative. And thank you very much, Senator Dr. Eze Darlington Ajoku, for sharing your thoughts and giving insight into this whole important issue.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure being here.
Well, that's it on Exclusive Interview. It's been a pleasure being with you. I am Tunde Hassan.